Hello, it's Greg Harrelson from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we're going to continue the conversation about marketing automation. And today I want to talk about using marketing automation for teams. I've actually taken about a page and a half of notes here that I'm going to go ahead and read off of. As you know, if you've watched my videos, a lot of times I'll prepare for these videos to make sure that I am communicating what I feel is very important information, and information that you could probably watch this video a few times and immediately implement a few ideas and help you grow your business. So, forgive me if you notice me referring to these notes, but that's just me being responsible with the content. And today we're going to talk about Infusionsoft marketing automation for real estate teams. I actually did a video talking about marketing automation for the solo agent as well as the mega team. And this particular conversation is going to be about teams. They're kind of like the mid-level, mid-sized teams. They're not, they're more than 2 people, but they're not, 15 or 20 people when it comes to team members. Real estate teams are a trend that I don't believe is going to go away anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I think the trend is going to accelerate. We're seeing them pop up everywhere. And not only are we seeing them pop up, in our market and growing in size of 5 members, 10 members, but we're starting to see them pop up in multiple markets. And that's kind of like the mega team, the expansion model, etc. But we're just seeing that. And again, there are some that are profitable. There's many that are unprofitable, but there is a right way to do these things. So therefore, I think this trend will continue. One challenge we see with teams these days, though, is their inability to handle multiple databases in an efficient or an effective manner. Each of the team members, their agents on their team members, each one of them have individual databases. And the key is a lot of times those databases are not really put into one centralized system. These team members have cell phones, and if you look at their contacts, you'll see that there's so many people that are in their cell phone under contacts that are not going to be in any databases. This is a challenge because this is missed opportunities, and it's critical that you get all of this data that is in your cell phone, each one of your team members' cell phones, your email, each one of your team members' emails, and get this nice and organized in one centralized system, so then you can kick off marketing automation campaigns and start capitalizing on all the opportunities that are probably being missed. And for the most part, a lot of teams, the reason why their team members are not bringing all the database into one centralized system is because the teams themselves don't have a system to house all this information. So I want to just talk about ways that you can monetize your team's database. And we're talking about monetizing it for your team members, which I think is more important than for yourself as a team leader. I think that as a team leader, our job is to develop talents, to attract good talent, to develop that talent, to help them build wonderful careers for themselves, and help them monetize their databases as well as other things that we can help them monetize. Number one, if you want to monetize databases as a team, you've got to build one database that has multiple contact owners. Now, one way to grow your team's database is scaling your marketing effort to that database. In other words, one way to grow a team's business is by scaling the marketing efforts to the team's database. But there will be team members, I can assure you, that might be reluctant. They may resist giving you some information. And the only reason they're going to resist is because they don't see the value in giving you that information. So that's your job as a leader, to explain to them how the system works. And then all of a sudden, they'll be arguing as to who can get their database in first and kick off campaigns. Now, what you can do is when the databases collectively go into one master database, each database can be tagged with a unique contact owner. So if you've got a team member, her name is Jane, then you would put Jane Doe as contact owner. And then you have another team member, and his name is John Doe, and John Doe would be the contact owner. So there's where you get separation. It's not that you're throwing everything into one pot. You're putting everything, each one of the databases remains its own pot, but you can handle multiple pots on one stove. So the system is the stove, the individual databases are the pots, and each agent represents one pot on the stove. So the key is when information's going out and being distributed to the mass database, if I create an email newsletter and send it to everybody in all pots, then when it hits the contact or the receiver, it will the person receiving the newsletter will see the agent's name on that newsletter. And so if John Doe has 10 people in the database and Jane Doe has 100 people in the database, the newsletter goes out to 110 people. But the 10 people that John is the contact owner, those 10 will see the content, but they'll see it as coming from John Doe. They'll see John Doe's name on it. And the 100 people that are getting Jane Doe's information will only see Jane Doe. They won't see John Doe. But the key is one person creates the content, hits a button, and it gets distributed and branded appropriately. That's automation. Now, the key is how many times will you be able to convince your team members to create content and send it out on a consistent basis once or twice a month? They may do it 1 month, but by the end of 2 to 3 months, you'll see that majority of your team members have dropped the ball and it's not getting done. And that's a value that you bring to your team when you have marketing automation systems in place. You're providing the platform for them to put their pots on your stove, and then you'll go ahead and turn the heat up under those pots, and then they will get the benefits of the cooked meal in the end. I don't know if that analogy makes any sense, but it sure did make sense to me as I was saying it. So hopefully that resonated with you and I got the point across. The other thing about monetizing your team's database is the ability to identify missed opportunities or identify opportunities that you may miss if you don't have proper triggers set up in place. So when we send, whether it be a for sale by owner campaign, an expired campaign, seller or buyer campaign, when we're sending nurturing emails out to the databases, there's all kinds of links and additional information that these people can click on. And when they click on something, for instance, if it's a for sale by owner and they click because they want to learn more about my listing agreement, they want to learn about my easy exit listing agreement or my commission compromise program, things like that. When they click on those links that are embedded in that email, I, the agent, get an alert that says, hey, John Doe, for sale by owner, just watched your video on this subject. Now may be a good time to call them. So what will happen is you'll put people in a database and run campaigns on them, and you'll forget they're even there. And 6 months later, they'll get one of your emails, they'll watch a video or read an article that you've linked to, and then you'll just randomly get a notification identifying this person as somebody who's now engaging in your content, and you use that engagement or identification alert to then trigger you calling them. Because what happens is sometimes we'll call our old databases and we get really discouraged because we call our old databases, especially buyer databases that are a year old, and we find out that they already unfortunately bought with some other company, another agent, or another team. We missed the opportunity because we didn't have the system in place to nurture and engage with them over the long run, and we didn't have the triggers in our email drip system that would alert us on who's hot and who's not. And that's important. As you're building your team and you want to provide more value to your team, these are the things that you can set up for your team members that will help them grow your business. See, this is why I call it monetizing your database. The other one, a benefit, a way to monetize the database, is making sure that people feel, these are the people that would receive any communication from you, they feel like it's one-on-one communication versus one size fits all. Nobody wants to be a part of a mass email blast anymore. Everyone knows with the language that you're speaking or the lack of local words that you might be using that they can identify with locally, they just know. Like they know that a recipe about chocolate chip cookies is probably going out to millions of people or thousands of people in our case. Whereas when they see an email that mentions their community name, then they know that couldn't be going out to thousands or millions of people because there's not that many people that live in the community. So you can set up merge fields in the emails to make people feel like the emails that you're sending them or the text that you're sending them or the voice broadcast that you're sending them can be customized in a way where they feel like it's just coming to them, or it's coming to a small group of them that live in a community or have something else common, and you've segmented that in your database in that manner. So there's many ways to go ahead and use marketing automation for a team. What I have found is, number one, utilizing Infusionsoft or marketing automation, some marketing automation platform, helps me grow my business in the number of sales. It's helping me attract better talent, more talent to my team. It's helping me retain the talent that I currently have because I'm constantly up in the game on the value that I'm bringing those particular team members. And why would they leave? If I'm helping them make more money, then there's no reason for them to leave. And then I'm also retaining them because I'm letting their names be branded on those particular emails so they don't feel like I'm taking all the credit. I'm giving them, branding opportunities. Their name's going to be on there. Their number's going to be on there. Our team name's going to be on there also because we are a team, but we're not going to leave them out and where they just kind of like fade away in the distance, which is where a lot of teams are having challenges right now, is they're helping their agents get to a certain level, and those agents want to be recognized at some level. Maybe they don't care about the awards, but they just want their own buyers and sellers to know it's them that's sending them the email, not somebody else. So hopefully you find this information very helpful. There are so many ways that a team can use marketing automation to grow that I have not mentioned. These are just a few things that just came across my mind as I was, thinking of the appropriate things to share on the video for teams, at least in the context of marketing automation. If you have any additional questions, go to Facebook. Find me on Facebook. It's Greg Harrelson. You can Facebook message me. It's easier for me to return a message than probably emails and phone calls. So please just Facebook message me any questions that you have. I'd love to help you get more involved with Infusionsoft or marketing automation in general. I'll talk to you soon.